Things are heating up for Cardano. That's exactly what we're going to be talking about in this video. This is going to be a predominantly technical update on ADA, as we have set out a technical roadmap that we think Cardano is now on, and thus far it seems to be following. We're going to be looking at Cardano from a number of different technical angles. Not only are we going to be looking at the Cardano chart, the pattern that it is now in and broken out of, the target that we have at $2. We're going to be throwing in things like stage analysis, looking at Cardano relative to the rest of the market in regards to performance. I do have some concerns in regards to Cardano. Cardano is one of my positions. It's not my largest position, because I do think other cryptocurrencies in terms of percentages will outperform Cardano in this bull, and that's just my own personal take. We'll address that a little bit in this video. We'll be looking at exchange-traded products, such as the one that 21 Shares offer, such as the ones that Bitwise offer, and such as the ones that Grayscale offer that hold, or some of them solely are based on Cardano and the underlying asset, ADA. We're going to be looking at them from a technical point of view. It all points to an upward direction, and then we'll be rounding things off by talking about altseason, bringing in Bitcoin dominance, bringing in others' dominance, and of course ETH BTC as a barometer for when alt season is about to start. And I think there's going to be fundamental news that's going to happen or occur on what we're technically expecting, which is a break for the altcoin market relatively against Bitcoin. So a hell of a lot to get into. Let's start things off by recapping on our price prediction. We said we've given price predictions for a number of projects out there now. Of course, Hedera, Cardano, ICP, Chainlink, and they're all being followed very well. Some further ahead than others, but we'll address Cardano against the rest of the market. So this is essentially what we were looking at. This is nearly a 2-month-old video now. We were identifying that Cardano had based and was now in a stage 2. There was bullish divergences present, which was our early entry sign for Bitcoin back at 15, 16K. And since then, things have progressed in the manner that we thought they would. And we did say that Cardano was essentially forming what we identify as an inverse head and shoulder. It's just a head and shoulders, but inverse. This is often, it's a very common pattern. Markets often move up and down in this kind of notion. And since then, the last video that we made, we were looking at the breakout of this technical pattern. So this video was over 2 months ago. This video was just a few days ago. I believe it was either Friday or Thursday. I think it was Thursday, actually. And we had a lot of disgruntled commenters, and I'll explain why that was in this video. I think Cardano has been a painful hold. We'll see how things progress. I think if it stays in the top 10, it's going to benefit from that, because they are going to develop ETFs around the top 10 cryptocurrencies, just like the S&P is basically a basket of the top stocks in the United States. But we'll see how that whole saga progresses. And I think that's going to really bring the spotlight onto altcoins when we do get the Ethereum ETF in place. And that looks like May, sort of middle of the year, we might know a little bit more on all that. But let's talk about technically why people are a little bit disgruntled. So we did look at this weekly candle in the last video that we did, and we said this is now a confirmed breakout in our opinion. Not only did we believe, based on this breakout of what we were defining as a base, so this is clear resistance broken on volume, flipped into support. This is what we would identify as stage analysis. You've also got your 30 weekly moving average in there that you're on the upside of after it went kind of flat and a little bit stagnant. If you want to learn stage analysis, do consider becoming a patron. Also, if you want to unlock the other cryptocurrencies that I hold, do become a patron. We speak about many of them on this channel, but there are some that we do sort of reserve for the group exclusively. There's now an uptrend set out, whether you want to use stage analysis, whether you want to look at things traditionally, technically, and when you weigh it up with where the rest of the market's at, generally things are going in an upward direction, and Cardano is on that journey. So this was a very clear break on volume. This was the biggest volume candle you had for over a year, and it was on the break of a key level of resistance that then flipped to support. Very positive signs. And since then, this break of resistance back into support is now actually set up the right shoulder that we were looking at closing back here. And you've now broken. We had a lot of disgruntled commenters on Thursday due to the fact that it broke and then got eaten up. But this was key. Look at the volume coming in here, guys. On a key level of significance being taken. So this was confirmed. You then had this candle follow it up. You went higher. You've came back, and you can see the kind of buying that's taken place. And this is daily, so this is just today alone. This could validate a retest. It's very common when you get a key technical break that you get a retest, just like in regards to this stage analysis. It applies with necklines, trend lines, resistance lines. I'll try and find you a very quick example to go back to the 3 daily. Chainlink is another coin that's been doing absolutely spectacularly. You can see very similar patterns here. Chainlink was a range bottom though, however, that broke on volume. You then set up what was the right shoulder. You broke and you come back for a retest. And this is kind of where Cardano's at now, but ultimately, in our opinion, going higher. Just like Bitcoin that we looked at back when it was down here. Break, retest. This had a double retest, got everybody kind of a little bit shook, to say the least. But there are plenty of examples. You know, we've compared Bitcoin, and I guess we could compare Cardano with the likes of Amazon, which is another head and shoulders that we have a target for. And we were calling this pre-breakout, just like we were with Cardano, Chainlink, all these others. Break, retest. Cardano's in this period here, but will go higher in our opinion, and eventually run to our $2 price prediction. And I don't think this is going to take a huge amount of time. And I understand the frustration when it comes to Cardano. Like I say, it's no longer one of my largest holdings. It is a holding of mine, but it has, you know, there are other cryptocurrencies, to be totally transparent with everybody, that I am more bullish on than ADA. From a investment point of view, from the return that I think I'm going to get, just from an investment point of view, I think Cardano is an amazing fundamental project. I think it has one of the best in class proof of stake mechanisms, and I'm all on board the vision. And it is something that I hold, just not to a degree in regards to some of the other cryptocurrencies that I hold. I think we'll do better. That's all I'm going to say. And if you look at things like the total market cap, this kind of backs up my thinking. You know, if you look at year-to-date percentages, if you look at 7-day percentages, you can see Cardano, albeit not doing too badly, not doing as well. There are worse performers, such as things like XRP, of course, not including stablecoins, Polkadot underperforming Cardano, also Polygon. So it's not doing the worst in the world, but it is underperforming a fair bit of the market. However, not doing badly, certainly when you count it on the 7-dayer. And I think things are really heating up for Cardano based on technically where it's at, what it's done, and where it's going. Just to dive over to some Cardano Exchange's products that gave us an inkling that Cardano was going to do well. These were also charts that we were tracking pre-breaks, and they progressed in the same manner that we think Cardano is going to do too. Let's fly over to Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund. Cardano is one of the largest holdings within this fund. It's also one of their largest. I think it's second only to Solana in their X Ethereum trust. So this is their digital large cap trust. They have a Ethereum essentially compared to trust, which Cardano is the second largest holding in. You can see again, break out, higher target set. So if this is going higher, and this is a product that tracks large cryptos, i.e. top 10, like what Bitwise's does, which we're going to look at in a second, and Cardano is a part of that, it suggests that it's going higher. Also, if we look at Bitwise, again, you can see very textbook, break, retest, and this is going higher. And Cardano is a part of this, which gives us an inkling that technically what we're looking at is backed up by products that derive around Cardano that are traded. This is 21 shares is AADA. This also we have a higher target for. The last time we looked at this, it was down here, and this has progressed. So this is a solely backed Cardano project or Cardano product that looks destined for higher prices, along with the Cardano chart, along with generally where we think the general market is. You know, things are really heating up from a price point of view for Cardano. It's now in a confirmed uptrend, in my opinion. We've got a $2 target. Does that mean that it's going to run into this and that's the bull run over? Potentially not. We'll see. I don't believe so. I do think it will go higher than this. You know, just because we have a technical target for it doesn't mean it stops there. If you look at Microsoft, which was a stock we gave last year, on a very similar pattern, inverse head and shoulders, you can see break, retest. That made its target, pulled back into a wedge, 3 impulses, and then went higher. So Cardano could be on the, do something similar to that. It might want to interact with this $1.24 mark, set up a broader inverse head and shoulders like what Bitcoin's doing, and then have a higher target. But we'll identify that when it plays out. Right now, we're giving targets based on technically what we see present. And since we've given these targets, it's following certain the market's giving us very positive feedback. We've also took a quick look at Cardano products or stock traded products. Exchange traded products, I should say, essentially stock traded products. They are stocks that are derivatives of Cardano that also look bullish. And when we look at where Bitcoin dominance is at, we still do think this is likely to top. And Bitcoin dominance typically doesn't top until into the bull market. Showing you the total market cap here in Bitcoin orange. You know, it's typically not until Bitcoin's done a bit of a run, close to new all-time highs at Bitcoin dominance rolls. We are there today. We also have things like others dominance, which of course Cardano isn't a part of yet, as it is still a top 10 crypto that we do think is heading on its way upwards to the 20% mark. This isn't going to be happening. Bitcoin dominance is going up. This is going to allow altcoins to flourish. Also, ETH BTC. We are expecting a break of this. There is likely going to be fundamental news that accompanies all this in regards to exchange traded, or ETFs, I should say. Products and actual ETFs, funds are very different. Products don't need to necessarily be backed or pegged to the underlying price, but a representation of it. However, a fund, certainly a spot ETF, which we're hoping Ethereum gets, and then there's no reason the broader altcoin market can't get. We'll see. You know, that's going to be the fundamental news that's going to come, that's technically signaled at this moment in time. So across the board, when we look at Cardano, things are really heating up. We do now think it's on that projection to $2. We'll see how much higher it goes than that. We'll see what sets up on the way to $2 and ultimately hopefully be able to predict higher as a result of it. But we do think Cardano is an uptrend. We do think it's going to $2. When we've looked at exchange traded products that are derivatives of Cardano, they all look bullish and have upside targets. Also, the broader context of the market. And when we look at where Bitcoin dominance is at, others dominance, and ETH BTC, it does look like alt season is upon us. And I think meme coins are somewhat signaling that. Guys, on that note, I'm going to love and leave you. Hopefully you've enjoyed the content. Like as always, appreciate it as a comment. We have given price predictions. We're going to keep you up to date on them all. I hope to see you all in the next one. Stay tuned for more content.